All right, what is up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Lifting, Running, and Living with your favorite, still for now, coaches, Kelly
Hello.
and JK. That is me, kicking off episode number 52. So, per the usual, let's kick it off with some updates. So, Kelly, what's going on with you these days?
So I really only have one update to bring to the table today. I signed up for my first track race
Oh, yeah, I saw
ever.
that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. I didn't run track in college.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Because I started running junior year on the team, and then that spring I had an injury, so I didn't run track. And then senior year, you get to choose if you run in the spring season because cross country's over and we're a cross country team. Or at the time we were. I think they have cross country and track specifically now at
Okay.
Hofstra. But we just did both, which is common. But anyway, when you're a senior, you get to choose because technically your like main season of cross country is over. And I didn't want to run track, so I was like, no, I just want to practice and run with my teammates. So
Okay.
yeah, so July, end of July. It will not impact the hill climb. I know everyone was worried.
Definitely. There was somebody right now who was like running to the comments right now.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be running a 1600 meter, which
Okay.
is just shy of a mile for anyone doing the conversion.
Is this on a 400 meter track or is it a 200
Yep.
meter track? 400 meter track. Okay.
Yeah, it's outdoor.
Snap. Okay. What prompted
Yeah.
signing up for that?
Well, I was at Ty's baseball game yesterday, and some of our friends came. And so 2 years ago in the summer, Tracksmith, which is a brand, they put on track meets, and they did one in Denver. Or did they two? Either way, I volunteered at one, and then I convinced my friends to come watch. It was the 5,000. So they had like different heats of the 5,000, and I was just volunteering to help people like get checked in, give them their t-shirts and stuff. And then I got a free t-shirt, which was cool. It was really fun. And they have other organizations have track meets at that same track. And that summer I tried to convince my friend to run a mile on the track, or 1,600 or 1,500, whatever is offered. And he was interested, but he didn't end up doing it. And then yesterday at the game, he was like, "Are they doing those track meets this year?" And I was like, "You know what? Let me Google it." And so we found out there's a series of 3. One's at the end of May, one's like mid-June, and one's the end of July. And he was like, "I could train up for a 1,600 in July." And I was like, "If you sign up, I'll sign up." So he's going to run that. And then we convinced some of our other friends. And this is funny because all of these friends I met through climbing, so they're like not my running friends.
Huh.
But 2 of them are going to do the 100 meter, which will be interesting. Another one's going to do a 400. So we've just got a wide plethora of events going on that evening. So it'll be, I think, a lot of fun. And then they're trying to get 4 of us to do the 4x4, which would be amusing, I think. I don't know if I want to run a 4x4, but
It's very interesting. Huh.
yeah, so I'm excited. I'll be nervous when it gets closer, but it should
And
be a
it's
fun experience.
June. You said June something?
July 25th.
July 25th. Okay. See, we
Yeah.
got 2 months. Yes. Yeah.
Just about, yeah. Yep. And it'll be
Interesting.
Friday night. The lights won't quite be on for the 1,600 yet because my race starts at 7, so the sun will still be out, but it'll be cool. I don't know. You guys know I'm a morning runner, so that'll be the hardest part for me. Like, how do I
Yeah,
eat
same.
throughout the day and have energy? Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah, I was not aware that adult track meets, I'll call it that, were
It is an adult track meet.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they
Is
have.
that the phrasing that's used? Like adult
I
meets?
I think they call it just like an open track meet because like
Okay.
college athletes can go if they want in high school, but so can adults.
Yeah, what I'm not going
Yeah.
to do is Google adult track meet. I'm not doing that. All right. Anyways, yeah, I was not aware that this was a thing until some months ago. A random YouTube video popped up about this
Mm.
woman who was a former college athlete and then was training for the adult track meet, and I didn't realize there were entire organizations. I was unaware blissfully unaware that this is something that you could do. You could run in like competitive-ish track meets
Yeah.
and whatnot. That's kind of cool. I like that thought.
Yeah, it is cool. They are harder to find,
Yeah.
probably for, it makes sense. It is a bummer because like road races are easy to find, trail races are easy to find,
Yeah.
but track races, I think track is not as popular, obviously, once you get to adulthood. And I think it's more intimidating to try if you are an adult and you didn't run it in high school or college,
I feel like
Well, I could be
you're
wrong.
warning me.
No,
Yeah.
it's probably fun. I I've spectated quite a few of the local track meets and they always look like it's a lot of fun. It's just like you kind of have to go into it knowing you're not going to know who else is around you. Like the 1600, the men and women, from my understanding of the website right now, we all run together. I have no idea like what paces will be there
Oh,
other than
oh,
me
gotcha.
and
Like
my
it's
friend.
mixed gender, I guess that would
Yeah.
be. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, which will be kind of nice. I told my friend I was like, "You're going to be my pacer." So,
Do they, I mean, they do heats and the whole nine, right?
I think it probably depends how many people show up or sign up.
Okay. Do you, to your knowledge, if so, say, do they do heats according, if they do them according to your reported time sort of thing? Like
Probably.
you,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it asks you to enter your best time in the event when you sign up, and I did
Okay.
my most recent time because we can't be using a college time. We need to level expectations here.
That'd be like me entering like an amateur like powerlifting competition or something, and then putting in what I deadlifted like, I don't know, a handful of years ago that I
Yeah,
have not
exactly.
touched recently. That would actually be kind of hilarious. Okay, well, cool. That's
Yeah.
something to definitely look forward to. I'd be interested to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool.
Should be fun.
What else you
Yeah,
got going on?
that's really it. But I
Hmm.
was given a handful of questions to ask you about Mason baseball from
Oh,
Tyrell.
well,
So,
let's do that. That may be most of my update. I'm down. Let's
yeah,
do the topic.
we were driving to
Sure.
his game yesterday, and I
Okay.
mentioned because Ty had a game the same time as Mace's first game yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I brought that up, and I was like, "Oh, JK is at a game too, just like me." And he was like, asked me so many questions. I was like, "Dude, I don't know. Like, I do not know the answer to
I
these
mean, he
questions."
could have just DM'd me, but that's fine.
I know. He's
That's
like,
fine.
"Well, you have to ask him." I was like, "Okay,
Sure.
okay." So first question,
Ty, this one's
what?
for you. I'll do the best that I can to answer these
There
questions.
are, I think, four questions.
Okay.
Let me pull up my text messages. First question is what position does Mace like to play? Or positions?
So he primarily plays second base. Yeah, primarily
Mm.
plays second base. Occasionally he'll hit right field, but primarily plays second base. And then in a pinch, he can pitch. However,
Ooh.
they've got a really solid roster of pitchers. I think just about every kid on his team can pitch
Wow.
if need be. Yeah, which comes in super clutch, which we found out this weekend. Comes in really clutch compared to other teams. So
Oh
for
yeah.
reference, he plays 13U ball, although he's
Okay.
12 years old. So he's always played an age group up because he also is going to. We didn't hold him back. His birthday's
Mm.
literally right at the cutoff line, like 2 days
Yeah.
before. So yeah, he plays 13U. So yeah, mostly second base.
Cool.
I got that right. I
Um
think I got that right. He's not going to listen to this. So
no, I was gonna say
yeah,
we'll just have to roll with it because we
yeah,
can't
I
I
know.
can't fact check
You
that.
can't fact check it. Yeah.
No. Okay, where does he bat in the lineup?
Primarily, he leads off this year, which is
Nice.
super solid. Yeah.
That is.
I would yeah, I objectively would say this is his best offensive season that I've seen from him so far. So yeah,
Ooh,
he leads off. He's lead off for the most part. Yeah, this season. So that's been
nice.
super solid. Does really good job of getting contact. And once he's on base, it is a thing of beauty to watch him steal because he's going. I'll have to send you
Yeah.
a video. He does this thing where I swear he's just trying to like be petty and be a pest to the pitcher because he does this thing
Yeah.
where he's just dancing back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when like he's not running even when he's on third. So if he's on third and it's a right-handed pitcher, so the guy's like got to see him, he's in the guy's
Yeah.
line of sight. He literally is just like he's doing like lateral shuffles back and forth. And I swear it works though, because I swear
Oh, probably.
he's just a menace. Yeah. So yes, lead off.
Yeah. Ty is kind of similar.
Yeah.
I'm realizing we have very parallel experiences when we watch baseball. Yeah, because Ty is second in the lineup.
Okay.
And then he is always stealing. So like this last game, he got to third, and then the pitcher had the ball and was like walking back to the mound, and literally no one was paying attention at this
Yep.
point. And Ty saw his opportunity and stole home. And yeah, it was
Yeah.
really exciting as from a spectating point.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you're so fast.
Some of those it is interesting sometimes watching the mental lapses, like watching for the mental lapse. And it happens to
Yeah.
every team, especially like at the youth baseball level. But you
Mm,
pick up it's very interesting. You can tell like really solid coaching because they start to notice, hey, it does seem like the pitcher always turns his back to third base when he's walking back, and they don't exploit it right away. Like they just wait, and then
yeah.
boom, they hop on it. That can be kind of it's really interesting too because you'll watch the other team and you're like, are they about to fall apart when this happens, or when it happens to our team too? I mean, same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. It is fascinating.
yeah.
Okay. What kind of glove does he use?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I couldn't. I,
Ty will be disappointed.
I'm, I am sorry. Yeah.
Do you know what kind of bat he uses? Those are all my questions.
Snap. I should know this because I think it was an Easton. It's
Hmm.
whatever. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I know it was like a big, massive deal at the time
Yeah.
because I think Emily snagged it because it was like really hard to find.
Oh,
I can't remember. Ty's going to be really disappointed. I
yeah.
just,
But not, you can
yeah.
see why I couldn't answer these questions. I
Oh
was like,
yeah. Yeah, totally. Totally.
it was one of those situations where he asked one and I was like, I don't know. And then he kept asking more. And I was like, if I didn't know the first one, why would I know these subsequent
Yeah,
questions?
he's going to be really, yeah, he probably will be somewhat disappointed that I don't know like the exact bat that he has because yeah, I just remember looking at a couple. I remember like last year we kind of jumped early on like this Marucci. I think it was like a cat something. I can't remember, but it ended up being a
Mm,
little too heavy. But um
mm,
yeah, I think what I've found in my limited observation, and I say limited just because it's just my observations of the, you know, hundreds of people that I've come across, but still there are millions probably in this world
mhm,
whose kids play baseball and whatnot. Um, there's definitely folks that probably pay like super, super detailed, specific attention to those specific things because they have prior experience themselves, like dads
mm.
who played travel or I don't, I might be tripping, but I just don't think travel was anywhere near what it's like now when I
Probably
was
not.
like that age bracket. I also remember though that I was just like this age bracket, like junior high ish, is when I was just moving back to the United States after living in Southeast Asia for 5 years.
Mm,
So I think I played one, maybe 2 seasons of baseball or softball, something like that when I was in like fourth grade.
mhm.
Because for us, primarily like overseas, it was primarily soccer.
Yeah.
So I played like a lot of soccer when I was like much, much, much younger. So, and then high school, I mean, we had a baseball team, but like again, I'm in upstate New York, so it was soccer and lacrosse even. Like
Yeah.
that was the stuff. Yeah. So sometimes like anything that I've learned like as an adult. So when, people are talking about like, yeah, well, it's changed back since, when I was playing travel ball or when I was playing ball and whatever. And they're like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, nope. I don't, I don't, but man, it's really interesting to hear you talk about it because then I can kind of learn a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I stick with the mindset stuff. I stick with the mental aspect of sports as far
Mm,
as like the game, like the youth game and whatnot, versus specific tips on or inserting my opinion on baseball strategy or basketball strategy, stuff like that,
mm.
which I think is probably just fine with him.
Yeah, probably.
He probably doesn't even, I'm pretty sure he doesn't pay attention to the mindset tips either right now, but that's fine.
One day he will. He'll realize how useful they are.
Maybe, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, that was,
But yeah,
I appreciate those questions. Thanks, Ty.
yep.
All right.
He'll be
Well, good.
excited to
Yeah.
listen.
I will. So I'll just throw out one other update. So
Okay.
there's the updates. Oh, and P.S. Mesa's team won their tournament this weekend that they were in, and the semi-final game, we'll call it. Yeah, the game that they were playing to qualify to get into the championship game. That was wild because they went into. I think they were had like one hit going into like the third or fourth inning, something like that. But
Mhm.
basically, they got down to the last inning, and it was going to be a time cap. So
Mhm.
basically, it was Joe, you got this last inning, and then that's it. And they were down
Dang.
7-2. Yeah, they were down 7-2,
Jeez.
and they were just like starting to finally get to this pitcher. There was a kid, and this is a whole different podcast episode. This kid had thrown, I think, 80 pitches already, which is a lot to put on a
Wow.
kid's arm. And he had just faced us. It was a team that we had already faced in the pool play round 2 days ago on Friday. So this kid had thrown, I think, 80 pitches on Friday, and then they brought him back to face us again on Sunday.
Dang.
So yeah, it's a team that didn't follow these. There's rules called pitch smart, but
Mhm.
there's certain organizations. So certain tournaments do not enforce the rules about how much you can or cannot pitch a kid.
Oh.
So, yeah, within youth sports or within youth baseball, pitch smart are guidelines that are, let me, for lack of a better way to put it, call them generally accepted guidelines
Mhm.
around how much you should or should not use a particular pitcher based on age, with their arm and things like that, right? Seems fairly basic.
Yeah.
Um, there are some tournaments where they will put the pitch smart rules and guidelines in effect and dictate to teams that if the pitcher goes over X amount of pitches, then they have to have 2 days rest, like that sort of a thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
But in this particular tournament, they leave it up to the coaches. It's up to them to decide. And this particular one was just like, I'm gonna ride this horse all the way because we watched one of their other games and their pitcher went like 93 pitches or something like that. It was pretty wild.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So, anyways, they had like finally started getting to him. So then they switched out with another pitcher who started. I think he started the next inning, the final inning, basically the sudden death, and Mace led that inning off. So he got a double to lead that off, and then
Mhm.
like guy who hits behind him, total hitter. So then he gets Mace home, and that just starts this rally. And they came back from 7-2 down to win 8-7, which
That's
was
wild.
wild. Yeah, it was wild. And then so they go to the
That's
championship game, and then I think the championship was like 11-2 or something. That one wasn't close.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, that one wasn't close. But yeah, it was just it was a cool experience though, because especially based on my schedule, I don't typically get to see all games just to begin with, and especially not every game in a weekend tournament because of my
Yeah.
schedule or the schedule that I've chosen, I should say. So that was pretty cool. It's a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So only other update that I will throw out there is that I have an upcoming opportunity to speak on a men's health panel as part of like a corporate wellness program. So myself and two other guys are going to talk about our experience, our health journey, like that sort of a thing. I think we each get like 2 minutes per question, and I think there's like 4 questions or something like that. So I'm
Hmm.
mentioning it because it's something that has been it's an intention that I have. I keep almost saying it's something that I wanted to do for 2025 because it's not over yet.
Yeah.
So it's something that um, still have as a vision for 2025 was to get into 2 or more speaking events. So I'm counting this as event 1 as long as it goes through, because it's not till June. I think it's in June. Yeah, it's sometime
Okay.
in June. It's a virtual event, and I still have an in-person event on my. I want that to happen this year. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just want it to happen.
Is it
So
later in the year?
what,
The
the
in person?
in-person? Oh, there's nothing. There's nothing like
Oh, I thought you like had one in
no. It's like
mind.
a vision. I'm manifesting it.
Oh, okay.
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. There's nothing solid at all. Just like I told you, like, hey, I'm going to do a TED talk one day. It's going to
Yeah.
happen. Yeah. So there we go. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that, because that'll be my first. That'll be my first experience. Yeah, that'll be my first speaking experience where I'm specifically there as a men's health expert,
Oh,
or a
cool.
health and fitness expert, I guess,
Yeah.
or whatnot. Yeah, because it's
That's exciting.
different, being in a group and then like somebody happens to find out that you're a coach,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, or you're just I was at a real coaches conference, and then so you speak up to answer a question, that's, I'm not counting that. I'm talking like you're
You're on the
actually a
panel.
speaker. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. The random things that I spout to my son don't in the car on the way to school don't count. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Not
yeah,
yet.
that's what's going on with me. So that's what's big for me right now. So I'll just leave my updates at that.
Exciting.
Cool.
Just nice and short updates today.
Yeah. Well,
We
it's an
both,
evening recording on a weekday. We're recording on a
yeah,
Monday night, by the way,
a
folks.
Monday.
So
The
yeah.
most Monday ever.
Yeah, don't put that energy on me.
Okay, my Monday was very Monday.
I'm like, absolutely not. No, denied.
Okay,
Denied.
well, I'll just tell you a little bit. You already know a little bit about my Monday is so Monday.
Yeah.
It's that one I've been working since 7 a.m. We're recording at 5 p.m. my time. But also, I'm on a team of 3, and 2 of my coworkers are out all week. So I'm covering everything.
Mm,
And it's Monday, of course, like stuff hits the fan. And yeah, it's just
hang in there.
a hard start to the week, but I am hopeful it'll get better.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I did accomplish a lot, so I feel good. Um but our topic for today that we're going to move into is, if anyone watches fitness YouTubes or probably any other genre of YouTubes, you've probably seen YouTubers do this. We're going to rank some current fitness trends that I got from either things I've seen, Google, or ChatGPT. So,
I like it. I like it. Let's see what's up.
yeah. So we're going to have 3 categories. One is hell yeah, one is meh, so like so, one is hell no. So, we're going to go through each of these. I have like 7, I think, that I chose. Talk a little bit about what we think about them and put them in a category. And we don't have to agree. So,
That's fine.
yeah.
Yeah. I have never felt pressure to agree with you.
That's fair.
Just so you're aware. And I think the same from you. I'm guessing you've
Oh,
never
yeah.
felt like, oh, I must. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I just didn't want people thinking we had to come to a consensus on the category we're putting it in.
Yeah.
But
Although I think well, we'll see what happens. All right, let's do it.
yeah, I made the list, but I haven't thought about where I would place each of them in their
Okay.
categories. So I'll be curious. It'll be an on the spot thing for me.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is going to be AI in everything. So this can encompass a lot. AI is obviously everywhere. If you don't live under a rock, you've seen it. So some places that I've seen it, Strava is a big one. And I know you're not on Strava, right?
No. No.
Okay, I didn't think so. So Strava, basically, it like gives you a little summary of your activity that you did, and it does it in a couple different spots. Then apparently like there's tonal in the mirror where it's AI that can like help you with form and
Yeah.
stuff, which sounds kind of
Yes.
cool.
I'm familiar with those.
Yeah, I've heard of tonal. I haven't heard of the mirror, but
Yeah.
Google told me that exists. And then obviously there's a bunch of um like AI powered programs. Like Runna is a AI powered program. I'm not familiar with any lifting ones, but I'm sure if
Yes,
you
there
Google,
are.
they're out there.
Yep, there are. I think
Yeah.
Heavy is one of. I think Heavy uses that. I think Fit.
Oh, cool.
There's a handful of them that work very much the same.
Okay, so based on that, what are your thoughts on AI being pretty much in every facet of fitness right now?
Okay, I'm going with my first reaction versus like thinking through a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, let's
So right off the bat, AI and everything. Off the bat, right now, I'm a hell yeah.
all right. No other thoughts?
Oh, I didn't know if there was additional thought.
I want to know why.
Okay, gotcha. So right now, I'm a hell yeah because I think that AI is more helpful than it is harmful for the
Mm,
average person who uses those particular apps pretty regular, who uses something like that pretty regularly as compared to what they were possibly doing before. So,
mm,
for example, like any of those apps, and I even think about like I have a Garmin, so I have like the Connect app. Um, anything I think if I compare it to what people were likely doing before, and this is coming
mhm.
from working with clients who've previously used things like even like Apple Fitness Plus or whatever it's
Oh, yeah.
called, anything like that, where it gives you, workout or you track your workout or somewhere in between, and then it provides you with feedback and or suggestions
Mhm.
on either how much time you need to recover, um, suggestions for making adjustments for the amount of weight that you're using, all that other stuff. I
Yeah.
think that I'm a hell yeah because I think that having and using that information, and this is going to be similar to where I am with the wearable technologies that track everything. I think having and using that information is likely better than the majority of what I've seen and heard and witnessed folks doing previously, which was either absolutely nothing
Yeah.
or very biased decision making and then
Mm.
cherry picking what they're going to pay attention to and what they're not and things like that. So right off the bat, I'm more of a hell yeah than I am anything else
Okay.
for AI being integrated into a lot of fitness, workout, training stuff. Yeah.
I am a meh.
Okay.
And this is based on personal experience, not so much coaching experience
Okay.
or other things. So, like my two primary interactions with AI and fitness are Strava and Garmin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Garmin, I've made a whole MFA episode about.
Yes.
They're no idea where
And you've
they
talked
come
about
up.
Strava before on here too.
Yeah. Oh, well, Strava, when Strava got Strava AI, which they call athlete intelligence, and I'm kind of getting sick of people making their own acronyms for AI to try to be cute. Like Apple intelligence, athlete intelligence, like just
Oh yeah.
it's artificial intelligence, but it really, which is a whole other thing. But so the Strava AI, in my opinion, is worthless. It adds zero value. I think Strava added it strictly just to say we are using AI so they don't get left behind in the world. But, and this is my issue with AI, like adding AI just to say you're using AI is worthless. It's not useful. Um, so like if you go, like if I upload a run, it'll give me a summary. It'll regurgitate my caption to me, tell me my average pace, how it compares to my average pace over the last 30 days, which is like the only useful information it gives me. And it'll like if I caption a run like really dragging today,
Mm-hmm.
dragging, not dragon. It'll like the AI might be like, this was a faster than usual run despite that you felt very tired. And I'm just like, how is that useful to me? Like I can look at my own stats and deduct that it was fast or slow, or I know I'm tired. I wrote that to you. You're just telling me back what I told you. And it's like, it's not suggesting anything. It's just summarizing what I uploaded. And I'm like, I understand that not everyone's numbers people. So maybe it's useful to someone, but like I can go look at my mileage and my paces and see, okay, how does this compare to how I normally run? You know, I don't need a little caption to tell me. And the caption is in like 4 different spots. Definitely don't need it in 4 different spots in one activity.
Okay. In what aspect would it be a hell yeah for you then? Like, what would it take for it to be a hell yeah? And actually, if we're going to deep dive this much, we'll probably like cut this list in half.
Yeah, we'll probably cut this.
But I'm asking that from the context of not trying to get you to come to my side of it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking though about so this is where my sales background comes into play.
Yeah.
Where if I'm talking to somebody about a particular product that I believe could benefit them somehow, and so they're pointing out to me, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's cool, but for me, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, and this doesn't make sense. Which I think, based on like your point of view, the things you pointed out, I would totally agree. It's not really
Yeah.
a great fit, right? So what would it need to have, or what would it need to do? What would Strava specifically need to do for AI to be something that would be a hell yeah for you specifically?
I think it would need to migrate more towards like what a Whoop does or something like that.
Okay.
So like I don't need a summary of one activity. What would be useful is like if the AI was like, I noticed that your volume went from this to this in this time span. Maybe you should not increase anymore. Maybe you should maintain for a bit. Maybe something like something like that. Like not quite a readiness score, but more like based on your training, this is what you might consider doing next. Which is
Okay.
kind of a Garmin tries to do, but
Yeah.
I have my own issues with Garmin's. But Garmin's is closer to a hell yeah. Because I
Yeah.
find it more useful because it's like taking your stats, even when, I mean, I find the recovery time to be egregious, but, it's taking into account like what you're doing and looking over a longer time frame versus Strava seems like it's just like taking the one activity and comparing it to your 30-day averages,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, I don't know. Like maybe compare my weekly mileage to my 6-month average or something and tell me like,
Gotcha.
oh, you're increasing volume or yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like more guiding me to do something or giving me suggestions like you said before versus I'm going to regurgitate the information that you just gave me
Yeah.
back to you.
I
you
gotcha.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Is Strava the app that originally started out with more of a focus on counting calories and things like that, and the activity tracker was just
Mm-mm.
okay?
At least not to my knowledge. It might have started with, I don't know if
Okay.
it started with cycling, but it's always been like, I think they started, I don't know for sure, but it's trying to be like the social media for running and cycling.
Okay. Which okay. I,
But yeah, I've
I'm
never seen anything where you can track
yeah. I want to
food.
like pay. I want to make sure that I'm still paying attention to what you're talking about. It's just I remember specifically that there is an app, a fitness app that is out there where they initially intended it to be one thing. And I want to say
Mhm.
that the founder was on How I Built This with Guy Raz, that podcast.
Hmm.
And it was a guy. Yeah, it was a Guy Raz is a guy, but
Yeah.
the founder of this particular app said that they initially started with intending for it to be something that was, I think, a calorie tracker. I could swear,
Hmm.
maybe for food or something like that. And they happen to have the tracking your run or your workout as a secondary feature. And
Mhm.
what they found is that people were actually using the secondary feature way more than
Oh.
their first thing. And so they basically flipped their entire business model once they realized, oh, this is actually what people actually want to use us for. And I,
Hmm.
for some reason, yeah,
It could be.
I'll have to at some point like go back and because it was a while back that I heard this and
Yeah.
I just can't remember what it was.
I didn't find it until in 2016 when I got. Did I get a Garmin that year? Mm, I think I finally got a Garmin that could
Yeah.
like sync with other things
Hmm.
because I had a Garmin in college, but it couldn't do much.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what
um,
app I'm thinking of now. So, okay.
it could be before that time. Who knows?
Hmm. I don't,
But
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, that's how I
Anyways.
feel about AI in the running space. I guess I should
Yeah.
clarify. I
Okay.
do think AI is helpful in, like we've talked about many times before, like helping build out skeletons for programs or like giving you a basis of where to start with a running program, lifting program. Um, for lifting, really good for like swapping out exercises if you just get in a brain funk.
Yeah.
Same for like running workouts. If you're like, I want to do a speed workout that works on VO2 max, but I'm not sure, what rep set time interval
Okay.
breakdowns, stuff like that. I think it's useful. And I'm sure I haven't ever used the tonal or the mirror, but that sounds like a really cool application, especially for like an at-home fitness thing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm still a hell yeah. So
yeah. I was just
yeah.
expanding on places where I feel more hell yeah, but I don't use those. So
And I did try to look up. I think I'm mixing up their story with somebody else's for a
mm,
founding story. So, which is not unlike me. So, all right.
it'll come
What's
to us at
next?
some point.
What's next?
Okay. So next, yeah, this is kind of similar. Wearable technologies tracking everything. So, like, you can pretty much find a wearable that will track whatever you want nowadays. Obviously, the basics are like heart rate, HRV, sleep. I would say those are like the basics of any watch nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Smartwatch, I should say. Um, and then like the activity specific ones will do VO2 max, which we've talked about how accurate that may or may not be.
Right.
Um, there's ones now so you can measure your core temperature. I've heard of that during running. Um, and then I don't know if there's wearables now, but you can like wear daily wearables, but you can like have ones for how much you sweat and then your electrolyte uh, or sweat concentration electrolyte sweat
Yeah.
concentration. Yeah. um, and then there's a new shoe coming out that can do like running form stuff,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
there is some debate I heard on threads about that. And then like my Garmin heart rate monitor can do like ground impact time, uh,
Mm-hmm.
balance between right and left steps, obviously cadence and stuff. So yeah, tracking almost every data point that we know we can measure.
Hmm. This one I'm a meh on.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm a meh on this one.
I am too.
And yeah. So I'm a meh on this one, similar to the AI and everything reasoning. It's heavily biased on the experiences that I've had with either clients, people that I'm just talking to, and different things like that. And my meh comes specifically from it seeming like folks are leaning more. It's like removing folks like
Yes.
putting, not trusting themselves. It's like
They're not
removing,
listening to themselves. They're like
still
not in
prior,
tune. Yeah.
yeah, like not giving themselves a bigger portion of, what am I trying to say? like a louder voice than
Yeah.
what the wearable is telling you. Because
Yeah.
I'm very, very big on um, getting a lot of different data. Like I'm all about that. And also part of that data should also be, what are you self-reporting?
Yeah.
So the example that I'll use is like recovery scores. So
Mhm.
when somebody says like, man, I woke up this morning and I felt great. I actually felt like totally fine. And
Yeah.
I actually slept all the way through the night and, you know, all sorts of, I got my 8 hours, like all this stuff. And they're like, but my recovery score says like, it's like a 20 and I need to take a rest day. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I say go, what's going to be your ability to recover from the workout you're going to do? And they're like, well, yeah, I mean, tonight's pretty easy breezy. So it's like, I'll still be able to go to bed at a reasonable time tonight and whatnot. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, but my recovery score, but this, but that. I'm like, well, a former client that I had who was also a coach phrased it really well. She was like, she's like, I run everything through two-factor authentication. And I'm one of the main factors in that two-factor
Ooh, I love
authentication
that.
is basically the way she said it. And then I kind of like added some sauce to it, but
Yeah.
that's basically like the thing. She was like, it's two-factor authentication. So she's like, but the first voice that when we talked about this, we both agreed, like the first voice, the first factor is you. Like you're the first factor. And then you start pulling the data of, okay, what does the hard data also say? So if you're
Mhm.
feeling like on the fence, like I have a client who recently is like just really stressful time at work. So she had messaged me and she was like, here's what I'm thinking. And it wasn't even a question. It was more of like, hey, just so you know, 'cause she's very like rhythmic in her workouts. So she's like,
Mhm.
yeah, just so you know, I just been feeling a little bit under the weather like the last couple of days. I also know like last couple of nights of work have been a little bit later than usual. I've got like a date on this night. So I know that like my timing is going to be a little bit off as far as my routine and blah, blah, blah. And also, my sleep score has been this. And also, my resting heart rate has been this. And that
Mhm.
tells me that, you know what, probably going to need to push the workout to a different day versus like, well, my score said this, so I'm going to do that. It's like,
Yeah.
that's why I'm kind of meh on it because I think that in the experiences that I've been a part of, it's just people are starting to remove their own like intuition from the equation. And I think that should also be a part of the equation. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's a hell yeah when it's combined with how you, like, actually feel,
Yeah.
and if you're going into it with an intention of how you want to use the data versus just collecting everything just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
So, the I think specifically for, the sweat ones, sweat concentration, those can be really useful if you're like, "I'm going to use this just to get an idea, ballpark of how many electrolytes I need based on how much I sweat." Um, because for running, depending on how long you run, you need a hydration plan, so it's good to get baselines like that. I think they can be really good as long as you talking about the other factors, other data points we can collect. They can be really good as long as you know your own baseline. So I think that's really important because I find resting heart rate is a really one of the best metrics in my opinion, but it's only good if you know what your baseline is. So
Yeah.
if I just tell you a random number like 50, you can't tell me for me, is that high or low?
Right.
Does that mean, like my trend is shifting up? Like maybe something's happening, I'm fighting something off, I'm feeling tired, or it's lower than normal, I'm more recovered, I can hit it harder probably. So yeah, same with
I'm only laughing just because I was talking to somebody and I do remember like I definitely had a visual reaction when they were like, yeah, my resting heart rate's usually like around like 68, 70 most of the time. And I was like, ooh, okay.
I mean, some numbers are just a
Yeah.
little higher.
Well, that's where you also are listening for other things to see
Yeah.
like, okay, are the numbers telling us a story? still
Yeah.
didn't hear. I was like, yo, you might want to, they're like, oh, well, that's about normal for me. I'm like, ooh, you, you might, let's, I got a couple suggestions for you there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like remember the character from Charlie Brown that walked around and had the cloud
Oh,
over their
yeah.
head the entire time?
Mhm.
That's definitely like that's definitely a feeling that some people have. It's just like, "What? This is normal, right?" Like it
Yeah, yeah.
rains over your head all the time too, right? Like, no, man, like just a heads up. That's not normal. Like that shouldn't
Yeah,
be your norm, I should say. So, yeah, anyways. All right.
yeah. Um, One more thing on that topic, I think that for sleep, I think they are a hell no, actually.
Well,
Uh,
you can't pick apart. That's not allowed.
I can do whatever I want. I came up with this topic.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Anyway, I think people have gotten way too far away from being able to wake up and realize if they had a good sleep or not. Like, why do you need to open your phone and see if you slept or not? You know?
I yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I Yeah, it is helpful. I will say it is helpful from a coaching perspective to be able to have numbers to go along with the person's intuition and their feelings and things like that, especially
Yeah.
being in scenarios where someone is reporting how they feel from a just a biofeedback perspective. And then, if you're looking and they're saying that they feel awful, just, oh, I felt really lethargic lately. Just seems like, the midday crash comes earlier and earlier, but then
Mhm.
at night I just can't sleep. Lifts, the soreness, it's not just like the new stimulus soreness that usually is during like what I call an intro week and then maybe the second week, but it's like
Yeah.
week 5 and 6. And we've talked about this, like week 5 and 6 into a program, you still need like 4 days to recover from a leg day and things like that. Like, and then you look at and then if you were to look at data and all their data looks like fantastic, which I haven't seen that sort of combo.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff that can be helpful. Usually it's the other way around where somebody is just like, yeah, like, I feel totally fine and whatnot. But, maybe a couple of things are off, but no, I feel fine. And then you're just kind of starting to notice like, actually, your dad is kind of, you see a pattern like starting to form, like that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Or somebody, yeah, I don't know. We can get into a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
still,
did just realize that my bias on the sleep stuff is that in my journal every morning, I write when I went to sleep and how many hours I got. So
oh,
I'm doing my own tracking.
yeah,
Um, it just I don't trust a wearable. No, I don't feel no wearable is comfy enough for me to sleep in except for Whoop, and we've talked about why I stopped
yes, we have.
whooping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whoop.
Um, okay, let's do one more, and then
Sure.
maybe we can do the next in
Yeah,
our next episode.
I'm down with that.
We'll end
Depends on what you're going to
this.
pick.
I'm just going down the list. We're gonna talk about
Okay.
Hyrox now.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel about Hyrox?
You go
I guess
first on this
let's tell the people what Hyrox is if they don't know. So Hyrox, I feel like I first heard of it a couple years ago,
one.
which kind of makes sense because it's half running event, half like CrossFit style.
Yeah.
So there's a 1 kilometer loop that you run in between each station, and there are 10 stations. So you run 10 kilometers, 6.22 miles for my US people. Um, and then it's the same stations each race. So there's like sled pull, sled push, ski erg, overhead lunges, farmer's carry. Uh,
You remember way more specifics than I do.
I
I'd look it
I'm
up, but
blanking on what are those squat throwing the ball up
wall balls?
called? Thank
Wall
you.
balls. Yeah.
I kept wanting to call them air balls, and I was like, that is not right, but it
Definitely
won't
not.
get out of my
Definitely
brain.
not the same thing.
Yeah, burpee broad jumps.
Woof.
I can't remember the rest of them, but it's the same event every time. They do it in
Yeah.
a bunch of different cities. Combination of strength and endurance. I
Hmm.
think it's a cool idea for an event. It reminds me of like a Spartan, but
Yeah.
not obstacles, just like lifting. Well, not even always lifting, but more
It's a lot of
strength.
fitness.
It's a lot of fitness, yeah.
Yeah. So where are you at?
I say hell yeah. I mean, it seems fun. It kind of reminds me of when I first learned about CrossFit. I
Yeah.
was like, that seems really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done either, so I can't say from personal experience, but I've seen Hyrox a lot because my YouTube algorithm is like a lot of running, which
Mm-hmm.
surprises no one, but it's also a lot of CrossFit. I've never done CrossFit, but I'm a huge fan of CrossFit.
Well,
And when I'm
go ahead. Sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Well, and the algorithm is going to slowly try to nudge you towards certain things.
Yeah, but I mean, I've always been
Once you
into
start
CrossFit.
one thing, yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, like I've been a fan of CrossFit since like 2017, like when it was really good, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, the fun years when they made those really fun documentaries after the games, those were the best times.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've noticed just CrossFitters migrating to Hyrox, which
Yes,
is interesting. Like
for sure.
Matt Frazier and Tia Claire Toomey, which is kind of exciting because I'm excited to see how they do. But in general, Hyrox, I think it's cool. I think looks like a fun thing to train for, especially because hopefully it'll encourage people to do. Obviously, like if you're training for a Hyrox, you got to run and you got to
Mm-hmm.
lift.
Yes.
So hopefully, like if runners get interested, it'll encourage them to lift because like it's probably gonna suck if you don't.
Yeah.
And then I don't care as much about lifters coming into running, but like I love when other people start running. It's probably not as fun. It looks really hard, but you know, as an event, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Generally, right off the bat, first reaction would be a hell yeah. And that comes from one, it's fitness, and I find it to be from the limited information that I have, having not competed in one, however, having one, I know one client for sure, former client of mine competed in one. I think she did Chicago. Yeah, I think she did
Friend of
Chicago.
the pod, Joy,
Yeah,
competed in Vegas
Joy's competed in Vegas.
in the doubles.
I'm acquainted with at least three other people I know who've done them. And these are all, as I think about them, and then include, say, like Joy, all very different fitness levels. A
Hmm.
fellow coach that I know competed, and then she also has qualified previously, I think, for like regionals in the CrossFit Games or something like that. So, I mean, yeah, so a lot of different levels. So, what leans towards my hell yeah is first from the aspect that it's fitness, so cool. That incorporates both strength and performance, so lifting and moving athletically. I'm down with that. Two, that it can be inclusive. I think it invites a more broad range
Hmm.
um, of people. So I think that that's pretty cool. And as somebody who's done like Spartan races in the past, did a Tough Mudder, I had some interest, and I may revive that interest in doing like one of the DECA events. Um,
Oh yeah.
I think that this is along those lines. So I'm totally
Mhm.
down with it. I also like the fact that it's standardized as far as what the events are. So
Yeah.
you are aware of what you're training for.
Hmm.
Now, on the flip side, the knock on Hyrox,
Okay.
CrossFit wannabe.
Yeah.
Okay. So CrossFit wannabe, and judging inconsistency for sure.
I have
And
seen that a lot.
yeah, most of the inconsistencies in the judging are coming from people inside the CrossFit community. So there's this
Yes.
guy, what's his name? Is it Andrew Hiller? It's
Hiller,
Hiller.
yes.
Yeah, so
He is
Hiller,
a
dude's a menace, and has totally like,
his content is good though. I
yeah,
hope I don't get
I was just about to say, like, and has definitely like
he has valid
carved out a
critiques.
really solid niche. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And he equally calls out like anybody who's just not achieving the particular standard that has been identified in the rules of their own event. So it's not like
Yeah.
he's in the stuff that I've seen him calling people out on, he's not calling people out based on like well, here's what I think they should or shouldn't do. He's calling it out based, like he literally puts like a screenshot of here are the rules and here's how this person is blatantly not doing them. Like I think Brooke Wells
Yeah.
is his latest target.
Oh,
Uh,
Brookwell's got knocked down the leaderboard.
yeah.
Not
So
because of him, but
right,
CrossFit like reviewed her video. Yeah.
right. So I think though back to Hyrox, um, those are a couple of the knocks that I've heard. I just think overall, um, something that is organized ish. You know, let's just give it its credit. It's organized, it's
It's
structured,
organized. It's in
um,
many cities.
and has specific expectations and standards that you can train for. I
Mm.
think that's a hell yeah all the way. I think
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It's
Mm.
something that I potentially might be interested like sometime down the road. Like I think it's just cool, a cool thing, and it's going to hopefully. I think it's going to grow some more.
Oh, I think so too.
I definitely think it's
Yeah.
going to grow some more, and they seem to really. I think that they are filling in. They are capitalizing on some of the gaps that CrossFit showed no interest in filling in. And what I'm talking about
Mm.
is there was this time where CrossFit was really like hitting its peak, and there was an opportunity for CrossFit to decide that they were going to feature more of like they were going to basically kind of go like the sex sells route,
Hmm.
or they were going to try and kind of operate like, let's call it like middle of the road,
Yeah.
and continue to promote both like games athletes along with the power of affiliates and
Mm.
your general lifestyle person. And they chose to really skew it more towards like the elite athlete.
Yeah.
And I think that Hyrox, you still got like the sex sells aspect to it potentially, but it doesn't seem like they're trying to overdo it. Because I mean, CrossFit, like some of the times it was like blatantly obvious. Like, how many times do you need to show, like Brooke Wells, for example, snatching from the
Mm.
back? Like, it is
Yeah.
okay to film her from the side. Like, that's okay, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like that is all right. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
I mean, I see what's happening
Mm.
here, but okay, yeah. So I think that High Rocks overall, I'd say hell yeah.
Yeah. And one last thing I would like to add is based on what I've seen, which granted is a small sample of content. It the messaging around High Rocks isn't like pitting it against other fitness modalities and being like
I would
High
agree.
Rocks is better
Yeah.
than whatever. If you want to do this, you do High Rocks. Versus like something we'll get into next time is one of the my main complaints about it actually. Um, how it's pitted against running and lifting. Are you trying to figure out which one it is?
Yeah.
It's Pilates.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right.
Yeah. So
That's a good one.
the
Yeah.
Hyrox messaging is great, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All
good
right. Well, that was
topics.
fun. Yeah.
All
We
right.
have
Let's
4 to talk about next time, one of which is Pilates. So, little teaser. Um,
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah. Thank you. Wait, you usually do the thank yous.
Go for it. Do it.
That just felt so weird.
Do it. Let's go. Keep that energy. Let's roll.
No, I lost it now. Got 2 in my head.
Air
Um,
ball.
if you would like to contact us, you can do so on Instagram at Lifting Running Living Pod or on email liftingrunnинglivingpod@gmail.com.
Okay.
And you can leave a rating, comment, review as always. Like we say, 5 stars only. Less than that, keep it in the group chat. As JK says, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. That's all I got.
Bye. Is that your part?
Yeah.
All right. For real. Thank you, folks. This has been episode 52. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.